Hi, welcome to the Leadership Loft. I'm Stephen and this is Leadership Questions Answered. On this channel I answer questions from my thousands of online leadership and management students, as well as common queries I get from people that attend my programs in person. In today's Leadership Questions Answered, I'm looking at something called authentic leadership. Another way of putting it is, do I need to fake it till I make it? So my short answer is not really, but neither do you have to know everything and be perfect at everything. All leaders should be learning all of the time. So acknowledging that we still have things to learn, but in the meantime have to get on with being a manager, doesn't mean we're faking it. An interesting idea from the research into effective leadership is something actually called authentic leadership. Simply put, to be an authentic leader means you have to have a clear sense of self, who you are, and you lead in a way that aligns with this. So a group of leadership academics and experts, including Fred Walumbwa, Bruce Avolio and William Gardner, explored the concept of authentic leadership and developed a questionnaire. And they identified 4 factors that could be measured, and I'm going to look at each one of these and think about how they could work on the job. So these are my personal thoughts on the model. The first identifier of an authentic leader, according to this model, is self-awareness. Well, that's logical, isn't it? If we're going to lead in a way that aligns to our sense of who we are, we need to know who we are. And it's important how we come across to others. It also means being honest with ourselves about what we might describe as strengths and weaknesses. You know, behaviour that we might like about ourselves, as well as tendencies to get things wrong. Everyone knows that no one gets it right all the time, including the way we talk to and deal with other people, such as our colleagues, people that report into us, our managers, etc. And it's really easy to see the weaknesses in other people, but not always so easy to see it in ourselves. Or maybe deep down we know there are things we do that we really don't like about ourselves, so we'd rather not examine too closely. But self-awareness suggests a kind of maturity about us that is able to evaluate ourselves both internally, the way we feel inside, but also externally, in the person that other people see and how they make sense of our behaviour. Now, it doesn't mean becoming overly critical about ourselves either, but realising that we are complex and multifaceted. We have different ways of operating in different situations and at different times, and we're able to notice this and recognise how this impacts upon us and other people. Another part of being an authentic leader, according to this model, is to not be a fake when dealing with others. It's actually labelled relational transparency in the model, and it really means presenting our true self to the world. Now, we have to be careful here, because this doesn't mean that we say the first thing that just pops into our head, or we respond in a way that takes no account of other people's feelings, but that we are able to openly share our thoughts and feelings with others. In my full course on this, I address the question of how to share feelings with others without damaging our working relationships. Anyway, suffice to say, there's balance required here too. It's possible to share our thoughts and feelings with others in a way that maintains our good working relationships, and this relates to another of the features of authentic leadership, which we'll talk about in a moment, around morals and values. But the reason that not being a fake matters to your team is that it encourages trust. And trust is related to liking, and liking helps build a better working relationship between a leader and a team member. And this links to another leadership theory called leader-member exchange, sometimes called LMX, but that's for another time. Right, back to trust. Trust also means that team members feel confident that the ground isn't going to shift under their feet, that they know where they stand with you. Another facet of the authentic leader is that they are someone who gets the relevant data from different sources, analyses that data, and comes to a judgment based upon it. It also means they encourage alternative views or data that may challenge their previous ideas. This suggests a thoughtful leader who weighs things up, and this factor is called balanced processing. in this model. This is quite different from what some people think of as the quintessential swashbuckling leader who leaps in without a thought. Now, this doesn't mean that they don't have the courage of their own convictions, but before they devote valuable resources to a project, for instance, they think it through. People who are trying to fake it till they make it often feel the need to be seen as decisive, which in their mind means making quick decisions and then sticking to them no matter what, maintaining a front of being confident that it will all work out. Okay, this may work so long as your luck holds out, but when it doesn't, things tend to come crashing down and you may lose the confidence of your team, especially if it turns out you've been lying to them. Now, don't get me wrong, of course there will never be complete data on which you can make judgments, so there is still going to be a need to make the best decision you can with what you've got. But an awareness of possible issues and the possibility of contrary information is important to make adjustments as you go. It also doesn't mean you need to overblow the risks, talk negatively or share every single little concern, but neither does it mean putting on an act of an all-knowing superhuman. I find having a process for making decisions really useful. Although nothing can guarantee success, having a process of data collection and analysis can give you more confidence. One of the risks when thinking about authentic leadership is that the moral and ethical perspective could be ignored. After all, one could argue that verbally abusive leadership behaviour is authentic, so long as it's how the manager really feels. So this is where the moral perspective comes in. This means regulating our behaviour in a way that matches our deeply held values. So while we might get frustrated and our immediate reflex could be to shout at someone, our values tell us that that's not who we really are. There is an element here of different personal values and morals that means that authentic leadership might look different in different people. But because authentic leadership is linked to the way that others perceive you as a manager, including the amounts of respect and trust, your status as an authentic leader will be damaged by abusive, cruel or thoughtless behaviour. Similar ideas about leadership, such as transformational and charismatic leadership, have also been questioned in relation to morals and ethics. It's not difficult to think of apparently charismatic individuals with very questionable morals who led people into all sorts of terrible things. So these types of aspirational leadership styles, such as authentic leadership, are linked to grander principles of justice, responsibility and liberty. So, quick 30-second summary. To answer the question of whether a leader should be faking it till they make it, you could try authentic leadership, which includes the high levels of self-awareness, presenting your true self to others, making decisions based upon data, acknowledging what you do and don't know, and having a moral centre. Having faith in yourself is important, but also having a reliable process for making decisions will help you feel genuinely more confident. Okay, that's it. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to learn more about effective leadership and management, check out my online training programs through the link below. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel to get more free content. Thank you very much. Bye for now.